Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the TNH T VZ.51, which is a Czech Tier 9 heavy tank, which is an absolute beast. I absolutely love it. It's so much fun to play. Because it's got a double tap autoloader, which is just fun. No other way of putting it. It's a really fun tank because it's got good mobility, it's got good turret armour, hull armour's okay. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. It's passable, right? It's good enough. Its strength is getting to a hull down position, which you can get to quite aggressively because naturally it's got good mobility, and then just slapping people with this 2-shot 440 alpha gun. And its reload, like I say, 20 seconds for that 2-shot is pretty decent. I mean, you've got good pen at 252, and if you really need it, you need the 294 premium. I would say you need that for the super heavies. You've got that too. And 440 alpha slaps, which is definitely a great thing. 380 meters of view range on this tank is not that good for a tier 9. Most tier 9s seem to be at 400 or around the 390-400 range. So 380 is still not bad, but it's just not brilliant, right? Is what it is. And yeah, like I say, you can just use the mobility of this tank to get into good positions, absolutely slap shells out with this gun, and have a great time. You can get some pretty big numbers in it too. It's got a bit of poor shell velocity and gun handling at 0.4 accuracy with 2.5 aim time as well, but you can make it work. You really can. It's a hell of a lot of fun to play. I absolutely love grinding through it, and I do absolutely love playing this tank. It's just, I can't profess my love enough for it. And then you get the tier 10 after it, the VZ.55, which is even better. Which is, yeah, it's just mental, really. So what do I run in terms of a crew? Well, I run a pretty typical heavy tank crew. That is Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Trap Mechanics, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, Off-Road Driving. I run those perks because, just like on any other heavy, I want to help it get to its top speed, which it has a pretty good top speed of, with the Off-Road Driving to make my ground resistances better. It's a heavy tank, so I want to rely on the gun, so I want the gun to be as good as humanly possible by having all those gun perks. And in terms of equipment on this tank, I do run optics, vert stabs, and a GLD, which is interchangeable. It's totally up to you, that one. I run optics because I want to spot for myself. 380 meters view range, again, like I say, is not the best for a tier 9 heavy tank, so I want to make it as good as humanly possible. Same with the situational awareness and Born Leader on it. I run vert stabs because I want to make the gun as good as humanly possible. And I run a GLD because I want to make my aim time better. Because the aim time on this tank is 2.7 seconds, and that's kind of long. So I just want to make it as good as possible. Because with the GLD and Born Leader and all that, I think it was down at 2.3 or 2.4 seconds I get it down to, which is very, very nice. Like I say, again, it's still not the best, but it's more usable, and I prefer having that better aim time in general for myself. Whereas, again, like I say, with the GLD, it's down to preference. If you can bear the aim time, you just swap out that GLD, run vents to make everything in your tank generally better, or run the traction system to have better track traverse and a better top speed. Because, I mean, this tank has a top speed of 50 kilometers an hour, so with the traction system, you can go at 55 kilometers an hour, which is absolutely fantastic for a heavy tank, right? And you will hit it, which is also something that's fantastic. So in this game on Erlenberg so far, we have done our best to break the typical Erlenberg camp. We've got 3,000 assistance so far and 1,200 damage from our very aggressive push across the bridge. We've spotted the enemy team up, and then we've pushed into this dip here to try and get shots at the rear of those tanks. And I realised that realistically where I was sat was very, very dangerous because I was kind of in the open for the 60 TP. If he decided to come over and try and get shots into me, it was very, very easy for him to do it, and I wouldn't be able to do too much in return to him. So while we wait for our reload to come back in, we came into this dip, got the double tap into the M60 to shut him down, which means the threat to my side is completely gone from this position, and now I can deal with the tanks that are sitting in front of me. So I'm just looking for a shot at this Kampfpanzer 50T, trying to bait him to shoot into my turret, but after a certain point, I'm just going to be like, you know what, you can shoot me once, mate, and I'll double tap you for quite a bit. Jamus in the Cobra comes in, pens him once, and as soon as he sees Jamus, he's like, I'm out, bro, goodbye. Because naturally, if a Cobra comes over at you, you are going to say laters. He doesn't get a shot into us in return, though. We do get the shot in to finish him off, and then we get a second shot in to finish the FV.5005, which is always a beautiful thing. I realise that the Jagdtiger is looking at me, which is kind of intimidating a little bit, because that'll be a lot of hit points. But finally, he thankfully moves off, which gives me the chance to pull back, because he actually had a shot at me over that ridgeline, so I had to stay there to make sure that he didn't get the shots in. But now we're reloaded again. I'm coming in for this AMX M454. He gets a shot at me and bounces, but we get 2 shells, one into his side and one into his cupola there, and he gets finished off by the 4202. And now we're in that reload cycle again. We're up to 3.8k damage with 3.4k assistance. The 3 kills so far. And it's like, right, we've got that choice of tanks. What are we going to do? Oh, hello, Mr. T62A. Well, he gets shut down before we manage to finish off our reload. I'm like, you know what? Screw the Jagdtiger. I'm going to pop the shots in to try and get some big damage into this 60 TP. Because I decided, you know what, the 60 TP is not looking at us. He's pressuring other people. I'm just going to basically farm that guy. He gets shut down by Swindling, the STRV-1030, and the Jagdtiger in front of us gets shut down before we manage to finish, well, get anything else. But that was an effective way to break the camp on Erleberg, to be honest. We finished with the 3 kills, the 4.3k damage, 3.9k assistance, the Ace Tanker, the Sniper Medal, and 1881 base XP. A really nice game for the TNH T VZ.51, which, like I say, is a tank that I love. And actually, look, Swindle did alright in a video for once. Shout out to you, Swindle. And in this second match, we are on Fisherman's Bay, and we're platooned up with my mate John, and he's in his Conway. And we're going to take the position at F6. Say hi to John, by the way, everybody, in the comments. He'll be watching this video at some point, no doubt. And, we're going to take the position at F6. Because this position at F6 on Fisherman's Bay is pretty damn solid to take. You can take, especially from our spawn, you can negate their push into the town at E8, because you can get big damage into them before they make the push in. And you can catch them out and stuff like that. And a lot of the time, as soon as you get shots at people that do sit at E8 and start shooting them in the side, they do stop their push into the town and then try and shoot you. But you are in a very strong position, because you get hull down, and then you can stay safe and just keep pummeling shots in. And as you can see from this position at F62, we got spots off at all those guys that were crossing into town, especially with the spawn that we got on encounter. More often than not with this encounter spawn, where they spawn the enemy team, being all at A2, A4, it takes them longer to get into the town, and the path that they take into the town usually means that they are more likely to get spotted, and you are more likely to get shots at them from this position, and this position becomes even more deadly. So we've managed to get 1700 damage so far, and we're in a minute and a half into the game. Then this Cobra T54 comes in, starts trying to get shots at us. He manages to bounce one off our upper plate, which is nice. We have to be careful there, because that Cobra T54 is a very deadly tank. He actually reloads faster than, well, yeah, no, I think he reloads faster than I do, and has a 4-shot clip for 360 and 360 alpha each. So yeah, and he puts out quicker than I do too, and he has better gun handling than I do, and better mobility. But he doesn't have as good armour. Cobra T54 is a nutty tank. It's such a good tank. But we have to be very, very wary of it, right? We have to pay it the respect it's due. And quite frankly, people like this E100 here and this Type 5 Heavy aren't paying me the respect that I'm due here in my double tap autoloader. They have driven the aggressive way and given me and John here some pretty damn nice shots. What they're doing, I don't know. They took the wrong route. If they were going to push the town, they had to push the other side, but they didn't. This Cobra T54 comes in, and you can see, he knows that I'm armoured, so he's not bothering with me. He's trying to shoot John in the Conway, because the Conway is naturally going to get penned a lot easier by the Cobra T54 than this tank is. He has to overexpose to get shots into me. But we do manage to get the shots into him, and now he's reloading, he's pulling back. But he's pulled back into a position where I might still be able to shoot him. So it's kind of, I can double tap and finish him, but the town is going very south very, very quickly. So I do want to try and help this town out. But, thankfully, John gets a shot into the Cobra T54, which means I can finish him off with my next, well, with my last shell in my clip, which is decent. We're waiting for the reload again to come in, so that we can get in on the action again on these guys that have come into the town, because they are winning it. But at the minute, like, the C100 is still exposing to shots. Which we managed to get one in to finish him off. Get a shot into the side of the Death Star, which tracks him in place, and I'm kind of hoping John finishes him off, which he does, which is great. Because at that point, I'm like, I've tracked him, and, you know, because we're in a platoon, it's easy enough. When you tell people that you've got the stuff tracked, they can get shots into them and finish them off. And the Death Star is always one that's deadly that you want to get rid of. So right now, we're in a position where the town's lost, and they're going to drive out. Which means they're going to have pretty damn good shots at us. So we can stick around here, or we can try and move to the next ridgeline. But we're kind of holding at the minute, because this heavy tank in the town is still alive. That I'm hoping that they do just drive straight out into the open, and that way we can farm them. Unfortunately, we didn't quite get the shot, the 50 TP there. We should have been a bit more ready. But here we go. The Conqueror drives out, so does the IS-7, but we can't quite see the Conqueror. I think there's a destructible wall there, so we couldn't quite see that Conqueror to get the first shell in, and we ended up missing it. We end up getting spotted because they are pushing aggressively out of that town. We've got Tyrann in front of us as well, which is a great help. And yeah, there we go. We take a shot from the Conqueror. This is a very perilous position to be in because they do get very easy shots at us. Although the IS-7 just bounces off us there. Realistically, the Conqueror is in the position that's the best for shooting us, whereas the IS-7 stopped in a place where he couldn't quite see me, he could only see my turret. We managed to get that double tap into him, like I say, and then John finishes him off. The Conqueror actually gets shut down by Projecto 66, which is, oh, it's alongside me, and they've only got 3 tanks left. It's 3 heavy tanks. They're all in this town, so we're going to get stuck in here and try and get some more double taps off. We try and stick a shot into this 60 TP, but we unfortunately miss the side of him there. He is tracked, and we're just looking for that shot, but he is just covered by that dead wreck of the Death Star. We're getting in here, and it's like, well, okay, then I'm going to get to finish you off then, and we shut him down. And I'm looking at this going, yeah, my game's over. This Type 5 is about to get farmed. But fortunately for me, John gets a shot into him. And this Type 5 is so dead set on shooting John that it's like, well, I can just sit here and reload. And he does get a shot in. John tracks him, and I finish him off. And we finish the game with a really nice total again for the TNH T VZ.51. In the fact that we finished with the victory, 4 kills, 6.3k damage, 798 assistance, 1200 blocked, ace tanker, the high caliber, and if we ever move on, the 2116 base XP. Really great game for a tier 9 in a tier 10 game. We had to fire a fair bit of premium there to pen the i7 and the E100 and the Type 5s. But we got there in the end, and we had a pretty damn nice game. And John coming in second as well, which is always great. And finished with a really great tank. It's a really fun tank to play. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!